Let me ask you a simple question that keeps me up at night. We have the standard operating procedures. We have a rigid preventive maintenance schedule. We spent a fortune on that fancy CMMS software. So, why? Why do the plants still suffer from catastrophic breakdowns?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? But the answer usually disappoints people. It's rarely a technical problem. It's almost always a system failure. A failure of logic, process, and human decision-making.
That sounds a bit abstract. I mean, if a bearing seizes up, that's a technical failure. Physics happened. Friction won.
Physics is just the executioner. The judge and jury were the decisions made weeks or months before that bearing seized. You see, we have this obsession with tools. We think if we buy the best sensors and write the thickest manuals, the machines will run forever. But let's dissect the reality. Why does maintenance fail despite our best intentions?
Most people would say it's because the engineers got lazy, or the technicians didn't follow the checklist.
That is the biggest myth in the industry. Laziness is rarely the root cause. In my experience, 90% of failures happen before the technician even picks up a wrench. They happen in the planning stage.
So we are setting them up to fail?
Exactly. Look at preventive maintenance, or PM. In many organizations, PM has just become a checklist exercise. It's a piece of paper that needs a signature, so an auditor is happy. The technician walks by, ticks the box, and moves on. They aren't looking at the machine. They are looking at the paper.
I've seen that. The tick and flick culture. But surely, if they follow the OEM manuals blindly, it would work?
You would think so. But OEM manuals are written for ideal conditions. Your plant is not an ideal condition. It's dusty, it's hot, the load varies. If you just blindly follow the manual without applying context, you aren't maintaining the machine. You're just servicing the warranty. And then there is the issue of the root cause.
The famous RCA, root cause analysis. Everyone claims to do it.
Everyone claims it, but few finish it. A breakdown happens, we fix it, we fill out a form saying bearing replaced, and we close the ticket. That isn't a root cause analysis. That's a diary entry. We never asked why the bearing failed. Was it lubrication? Misalignment? Poor quality steel? If you don't close the loop, you are just scheduling the next breakdown.
It feels like we are stuck in a loop. So if it's not just the paperwork, what are the real, deep reasons? The ugly truths?
If we peel back the layers, the first ugly truth is what I call the reactive culture. Or, to be more blunt, the hero complex.
The hero complex? You mean like firefighters?
Precisely. Imagine a plant manager. When the production line runs smoothly for 6 months, nobody says anything. It's boring. But when the main compressor blows up at 2 a.m. and the maintenance lead rushes in, works for 20 hours straight, covers himself in grease, and gets the line running just in time for the morning shift. What happens?
He gets a round of applause. Maybe a bonus. Everyone talks about how he saved the day.
Exactly. We glorify the firefighting. We reward the chaos. Subconsciously, the organization starts to prefer breakdowns because that's where the visibility is. Reliability is invisible. Nobody claps for the bearing that didn't fail.
That is profound. We are incentivizing the very thing we are trying to prevent. It's like praising a driver for crashing their car and surviving, rather than the driver who never crashes.
That's a perfect analogy. And this feeds into the second reason. Wrong KPIs. We are measuring the wrong things.
Like what?
Most plants are obsessed with MTTR, mean time to repair. How fast can you fix it? Get the machine running, is the mantra. So, the engineer puts a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. They bypass a safety, they use a temporary clamp just to get the metric down. They ignore MTBF, mean time between failures.
So we are prioritizing speed over longevity.
We are prioritizing running over reliable. There is a massive difference. A machine can be running while it is slowly destroying itself.
And I assume the third reason has to be the nightmare of spare parts?
Oh, the spare parts chaos. It's a classic tragedy. You go into the store and the shelves are full, millions of dollars in inventory. But it's all non-moving stock parts for machines you scrapped 5 years ago.
But when you need that one critical sensor for the main line,
it's out of stock. Lead time, 6 weeks. So now you are cannibalizing other machines or buying cheap local alternatives that fail in a month. It's not a lack of resources. It's a mismanagement of resources.
This sounds painful because it feels so familiar. It's universal.
Let me give you a real story, a field story that sums this up perfectly. I was consulting for a plant that had a massive gearbox issue on a critical conveyor. This thing was a beast.
Okay,
It kept vibrating, shaking the floor. They overhauled it 3 times in 1 year. New gears, new bearings, new oil. They spent a fortune. They blamed the gearbox manufacturer. They blamed the oil supplier.
what was the actual problem?
I went in and asked a simple question. Show me the alignment report. Silence. They looked at each other. Turns out, they had been swapping parts, but nobody had ever checked the alignment between the motor and the gearbox with a laser tool.
You're kidding.
No, they were treating a broken leg with aspirin. We aligned it took about 2 hours, and the vibration vanished. The gearbox ran for 5 years without an issue.
That's incredible. So all that money, all that downtime.
Wasted. Because they were fixing, not thinking. The lesson there is, maintenance fails not due to a lack of tools, but a lack of thinking. It was a failure of diagnosis.
That brings me to the people upstairs, the management. Surely they see this money going down the drain. Where do they fit into this failure?
Management often views maintenance through a distorted lens. To them, maintenance is a cost center. It's a necessary evil, a hole where they throw money.
So they try to minimize the hole.
Right. They cut the training budget because training is expensive. They deny shutdown requests because we need to meet production targets. They run the assets into the ground to hit this quarter's numbers, sacrificing next year's reliability.
It's short-termism.
It's fatal. There is a mini framework I use to explain this to CEOs. I tell them, PM does not equal reliability. You can do PM all day and still have an unreliable plant. Reliability is an equation. Reliability equals design plus operation plus maintenance.
Meaning you can't maintain your way out of a bad design?
Exactly. And you can't maintain your way out of bad operation. If the operator is pushing the machine beyond its limits, no amount of grease will save it. Management needs to align these 3 pillars.
Okay, this is heavy. We've busted the myths, we've exposed the culture, and we've blamed the bosses. But we can't leave our listeners feeling hopeless. How do we fix this? If I'm a plant manager listening to this, what do I do tomorrow?
You don't need more software. You need to change the behavior. I have 5 practical fixes.
Let's hear them.
Number 1, equipment criticality ranking. You cannot maintain everything with the same intensity. That is a waste. Rank your assets. If a bathroom fan breaks, who cares? If the boiler feed pump breaks, the plant stops. Focus your energy on the top 20% of critical assets.
Prioritize. Makes sense. Number 2,
PM optimization. Do not add more checks. Remove the useless ones. If a checklist item says check noise, remove it. It's subjective. Change it to measure decibels at point A. Make it data-driven or delete it.
quality over quantity. Number 3,
RCA closure with ownership. When a root cause is identified, assign a name to it. John is responsible for changing the design of the seal. If there is no name, it won't happen.
accountability. And number 4,
Operator and maintainer alignment. This is huge. The operator knows the machine better than anyone. They hear the change in sound before the sensor picks it up. Stop treating operators like button pushers. Involve them in the maintenance strategy.
that bridges the gap between the departments. And the last one,
Reliability mindset at the leadership level. The plant manager needs to stop asking when will it be running and start asking what can we do so this never happens again. Change the question and you change the culture.
that's a powerful shift. If we could implement even half of these, the breakdown culture would starve to death.
It would, and the plant would become boring. But in our line of work, boring is profitable. Boring is safe.
Boring is profitable. I like that. It's a complete reframe of what success looks like.
It is. We need to stop looking for excitement in maintenance.
So, as we wrap up this session, what is the one big takeaway? If the listeners forget everything else, what should they remember?
Remember this. Maintenance is not a department. It is not a room full of tools in the basement. Maintenance is a business function. It is as important as sales or R&D. If you treat it like a janitorial service, you will get broken machines. If you treat it like a value driver, you will get world-class reliability.
That's a mic drop moment. It's about respect for the function.
It is. It's about respecting the complexity of what keeps the world moving.
Well, this has been an eye-opener. We started with SOPs and ended with philosophy. To everyone listening, look at your plant tomorrow with fresh eyes. Are you fixing or are you thinking?
And don't be a hero. Be a planner.
Absolutely. If you face these frustrations, the spare parts chaos, the tick box PMs, we want to hear from you. Which failure hurts your plant the most? Drop a comment or send us a message.
Let's get the conversation out of the workshop and into the boardroom.
Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep it running, but more importantly, keep it reliable.